So welcome everybody to my community mat class. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while and I finally got there this month. My intention is to try and make it the first Friday of each month, and it'll be a free class available via Zoom, and you'll be able to watch it live with me, or you'll be able to have the link afterwards for the recording. So before we get going, just a quick reminder, I am not observing you, we're recording the class. So I might do an exercise that is new to you or it doesn't feel quite right for your body. Please modify. I will give some modifications at times. I'll also give some extensions for anybody who I know kind of needs it or is up for it. So ensure that you pick the move that is right for you. Okay, with no such further ado, let's get straight on into it, guys. So we're going to come down onto the mat and lay on our backs with our knees bent. And just take a moment here. I want you to shuffle yourself around and get comfortable in your lower back. Have your feet in a parallel position, and then just relax your arms down by your sides, and then just check out where your chin is positioned. If it's really jutting up towards the ceiling, just gently draw it down a little so your gaze is somewhere on a diagonal. And then we're going to begin with some pelvic rocks. So on an exhale, just gently bringing your pubic bone forwards towards your face. Feel your lower back sink into the mat. And then on an inhale, we're going to release that tuck of the pelvis. Let's just keep going with that. This is just a preparatory exercise to bring our awareness into the body, feeling present in the moment. And it's also a great opportunity to just scan yourself. Are you holding any tension anywhere that you could let go? Check out how you're feeling through your neck and jaw. Can you soften there? Are both your shoulders relaxed against your mat? Are you gripping through your feet or are they relaxed? So as we're rocking the pelvis forward and back, I want you to think about that gentle tightening sensation as you draw your pubic bone towards you. So as the back is flattening out against your mat, think of hugging your abdominals in towards your spine and get a sense of contraction there. And then as you release that, I want you to just let any tension go and take a breath, fill the lungs, feel the expansion of the ribcage. Now you might like to keep going with that, or this is a move that you can always come back to at any point in the class if we are doing an exercise that is either too difficult or doesn't feel appropriate for you. But now we're going to progress into a pelvic curl. So we're going to initiate that by getting that tuck of the pelvis again, pubic bone comes forward. Now you're going to get active through the back of the legs and the glutes. And you're going to push your heels down into the floor as you roll one vertebra at a time off the mat, resting on the shoulders at the top. And then we're going to bring it down in reverse. So rolling down, try and find each part of your spine. I'm moving pretty slowly here just for anyone who is new to this movement. You might be moving a little bit quicker, that's all good. But keep your form. Think about that parallel position of your knees. You're trying to maintain that as you move up and down your spine. Release the top of the pelvis each time you come down. Take that breath in and then exhale. Let's scoop the belly, roll up through the spine, pressing up. And then exhale, keep it soft across your chest. Feel the glutes working. You can press in with your arms as well, get active there. But what we're looking for is finding as much of your spine as possible. Check out your head position. Did your chin start to come up towards the ceiling? It happens. If that has, let's make that little adjustment. Bring your eyes slightly forward. Work with your breath. So let's do one more wherever we're at here, guys. Tucking the pelvis under, pressing through, reaching out. We're going to hold it for a little bit at the top. Feel the work through the back of the body. Reach long through your fingertips, reach out of your knees, broad across your shoulders, and then let's exhale, roll it down and down, finding each part of the spine. And at the bottom, release the top of the pelvis, come back to what feels like a comfortable position for you, but ideally a little bit of space at your lower back. So let's move into the leg lift exercise. I want you to think about keeping the pelvis really still, and you're going to think that your left foot is light as air, and it's going to float off the mat into what we call a tabletop position without anything else moving. And then we're going to tap that foot back down towards the mat. Notice the angle at my knees not changing, and see if you can do that too. So it's just the hinge from the hip, and the only thing that's moving is the thigh bone. But see if you can get that sense of contraction as you bring the knee back up. There's a tightening that's happening between the hips and the ribs. And can you keep that knee tracking parallel as it moves up and down, so you're not deviating in or out? So we'll just do one more on this side, and then placing that foot down. As you're placing it, be mindful about it. Can you do this transition without moving your pelvis? So that gentle tightening around your center as you float that other leg up to tabletop, and then again, we're going to take it down and up. And again, you might be moving slightly quicker than me. If you are, you're going to get a few more repetitions in. If you're familiar with this exercise, go for it. I'm going slow for anyone who is a beginner today. It also feels really good to slow things down. Inhale as you tap that foot. Imagine it's light as air. Exhale as you bring it back up. See if you can sense the work going on in the abdominals to help lift that leg. And we're going to do one more, bringing this leg to tabletop. And then again, we will place that foot back down. Okay, so thinking about those pelvic curls we just did, you're now going to bring your heels a little bit closer to your bottom if you can. Now, rather than articulating the spine, I just want you to push the heel down into the mat and lift your hips straight up. So coming into a bridge, and then we're going to lower the hips back down, and then we're going to repeat pressing up. Now, if you're comfortable with this, each time that you lower your hips, just hover off the mat. So you're not even touching. But if you're new to this, let yourself fully rest down between each repetition. Just getting the sense of the back of the legs working again, the glutes. And then I'm going to add an extension onto this. If it's not for you, just keep going with the bridge, or you might just want to hold the bridge for a count of 10 at the top and then rest down. So the extension for the more intermediate students is to really stand through that left leg, float your right leg into a tabletop. Now, without losing the height of your pelvis, can you tap that foot back into that leg lift movement that we did in our previous exercise? And we're just doing 5. So work with where you're at, folks. You might just be working on holding the bridge. For those who are with me right now, let's keep this going. Bring that leg to tabletop. Let's bring it down. Check out, did you lose the height of your pelvis? Can you reset it here? We're moving to the other side, so standing that leg, strong through the glutes, and then just isolate the movement, just that thigh bone, lifting and lowering. Try not to make the movement come from the knee. Keep pushing into that standing leg. Push into your arms. Let them help you. Work with the breath. Find a pattern that works for you. I like the exhale on the way up, but you might be doing that in reverse, and that's all good. And last one. And I'm going to place that foot down. Lift those hips a little higher. They'll probably have dropped. And then let's lower it down. And then quick little stretch, hug one knee in and the other, and just have a rock and roll side to side through the back of the pelvis. Feels great. Okay, so from here we're moving into a rotation of the spine. I'm going to give you 2 versions. Pick the one that feels best for you. Arms are in a T position with your palms facing up. Relax your shoulders here. Again, get comfortable through your lower back. So the harder version is to be up with one leg into tabletop, tighten your center, bring the other one, knees and feet squeezing together. So I'm going to show this version first. We rotate and lift one side of the pelvis without lifting the shoulders off the mat, and then bring the legs back through the center. Note that my knees are staying evenly stacked. So check that out. If you're doing this version, look towards your knees as you rotate. Do they stay even, or does that top knee fall behind? If that's happening, see if you can work out how to level that out. And I want you to really feel the muscles around your waist, particularly as you draw the legs back in, you're tightening and pulling there. Now, if this feels too challenging and you're not used to holding a tabletop position, or maybe that feels too much on your lower back, you can do this with the feet anchored down on the mat, but you're still looking for that same pivot of the top leg so that the knees stay evenly stacked. Keep the movement small, perhaps, if you experience any discomfort in your lower back. So you've got your two versions of the spine twist there. I'm going to go back up and just do one more each way. In the slightly more challenging version. And then we are going to come back and we are going to hold that tabletop, and we are going to bring our palms facing forward with our shoulders directly underneath them. So let your shoulders sink down against the mat. And you might want to give your feet a little bit of space here. So at the moment, this might be challenging enough in itself. If you're feeling tightness and engagement around your center, great, that's what we're aiming for. Now let's add in some brain Pilates. Okay, so we're working in opposites. As the right arm comes forward, the left leg's going to extend, and then you bring it back in. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So the trick with this is to go slow, because if you rush, that's where you don't give your brain time to think about, how do I work in opposites? How do I keep my core engaged while I extend my leg and arm out? If you experience any discomfort in your lower back with this, bring the feet down and just work on alternating the arms. You're still getting the brain patterning workout, but without stressing that lower back. So this is strong abdominal work as well as strong mind work. Keep it going. You could also just work on holding the tabletop and alternating the arms, or you could work on alternating the legs. So you've got a couple of versions there of this single arm coordination exercise. So wherever you're at, let's do one more each way. Whoops, I went wrong there, didn't I? I went the same, and that happens when you're talking and trying to do it at the same time. Let's hook the knees in again and have a bit of a rock and a roll across the back of the pelvis. And then we are going to bring ourselves into a parallel position with the feet. Interlace your fingers and bring them behind your head. So think about that chin slightly drawn down towards your chest, and check out your elbows. They want to be in your peripheral vision. And ideally, you've got a little bit of space at your lower back. You're not really pushing it down into the mat with a tilted pelvis. So see the difference there? I've pushed my back down, and then here I've got it in a more neutral position. Keep the elbows in your peripheral. You don't want them too wide that your shoulder blades are pinching together. On an exhale, chin to chest. Make many chins, it's okay. We're coming up into a chest lift, and then we're going to lower it back down. So moving a little quicker now. Probably a maximum of 10 of these. But I want you to really sense the shortening that happens, the space between your ribs and your hips as you come up. And also, can you do it without the pelvis tucking? So you're not really imprinting or pressing the lower back into the mat too much. If it's new to you, let that happen. It might be more comfortable for your lower back. Exhale, curl and lower back. Try not to pull on the back of the head with your hands. If anything, you want to be pushing your head into your hands. So we'll do 2 more of these. And on the next one, we're going to hold it up there. Now, without coming any higher, can you turn towards your screen? Hello. And then come back through center. And then you're going to turn away. Goodbye. And center. Now, can you keep that movement going? So we're adding rotation into this flexed position. Very challenging on the oblique muscles that run down the side of your waist. If this is too much, go back to either pelvic tilt, or just keep working on the chest lift without the rotation. Find what works for you. You might notice you have more rotation available to you on one side to the other. I know I certainly do. So let's do one more each way. Make sure you finish on an even side. And exhale, like you're wringing the air out of your lungs. Inhale, can we hold this? Can we reach long perhaps? Keep that contraction. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the head back, hold under one leg, rock and roll yourself up to a seated position. Okay, is everyone still with me? Yes, they are. Great. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves up tall with your feet in a V position. If you can flex the feet, great. If you find that this position is hard for you to get a tall lower back here, or you kind of feel like you're quite rounded, or you're tight in the back of the legs, sitting on a yoga block or something similar, you could roll the end of your mat up and just put that underneath your sitting bones. Tends to help, or you can just really bend your knees a lot. So go with what works best for your body. Your arms are out in front, and I want you to imagine that the wall is up against your spine right now. And we're going to roll the spine forward away from that wall. So start with the head. Let the chin come down towards your chest. And then you're just going to curl. Imagine you've got a ball in front of your tummy. So it's almost like you're curling the spine around that ball. Once you're as curled forward as you can come, if it's available to you, you can add a bonus reach out towards the feet and get that stretch into the hamstrings. Now release that stretch and then slowly restack your spine. Think of moving from the lower, the middle, the upper. Check your shoulders. Are they relaxed or are they up near your ears? Okay, let's curl it forward again. Chin to chest. Rounding the spine. Take your time with this. Ease on into it, finding some extra stretch if you can. And then use your breath. Exhale. Pull the abdominals in like you're trying to tuck them underneath your rib cage. And roll up the spine. Visualize how one vertebra is coming on top of the other. Reach the energy from the crown of the head at the top. Be purposeful about this movement. Be present with it. Curling over and then reaching up. Extend. Find that stretch in the back of the legs if you can. Maybe you're bending your knees a lot, and that's okay too. And lift. Bring the gaze forward. We're going to do one more of this spine stretch and curling the chin to the chest. Round the spine. So we're going into flexion here. And then as you reach further, maybe you extend the spine a bit more with the back of the legs. Round the spine again. Hug the abdominals in and rebuild. Bring it tall. Once you're at the top, we're going to bring the feet together again. Relax the backs of the knees if that makes it easier to be in a tall spine. Palms are up. We're reaching out to a T position, going into a little rotation. So I want you to think of turning your eyes with your sternum rather than trying to look all the way. Keep it in alignment, and we'll add 2 little pulses with that and come back to the center. Let's keep that going. Pulse, pulse, center. And pulse, pulse, center. Reach the energy up out of the crown of the head. You're keeping your spine tall with this movement. And it doesn't have to be a big rotation. We're not creating force here or discomfort. We're looking to feel the waist working, the muscles at the sides of our trunk. Keep that rhythm. And exhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, exhale, inhale. I think we have one more each way, folks. Last one. And coming to center, let's relax the arms. So fun exercise coming up for you. Roll like a ball. Lots of different versions. Let's start off with the easy one, particularly if this is a new move to you. You're going to come to the top end of your mat. We are only rolling onto the shoulders, not your neck. If you have any issues with your spine or osteoporosis, this exercise is not for you. Please go back to a pelvic tilt or a pelvic curl right now. So the easy version, your knees can be together or apart, and you're going to hold the back of your thighs. And then I want you to think about that pelvic tilt we were doing on the mat. Can you round your lower back so you're slightly tilted and you're pulling your abdominals in? Then you're going to come onto the tips of your toes, keep holding your legs, and see if you can just kind of find a little hover here. Okay, so you're going to keep that rounded position. You're going to keep the eyes looking in. Maybe the knees are touching, maybe they're not. Your arms are a little bit active. There's some tension there to hold this position. We are rolling back, and we're going to do a maximum of 10. We can't synchronize it, so let's just do our best. Keep the eyes looking in. And then when you come to the top, can you catch yourself? Or did you roll off the mat? Are you somewhere on the other side of your room? I hope not, but let's keep it going. Inhale, exhale, come up. Each time, see if you can find that balance at the top. Keep looking in. Try not to let the legs flick up. And inhale as you go back. Hug the abdominals into your spine. You're looking for that rounded ball position. Otherwise, you're not going to roll smoothly. And taking it back, I believe this was number 6, maybe, I don't know. I can't count and roll at the same time and talk, it's too hard. But let's just say it was, and we'll do 2 more. And let's aim on our last one to find our balance. Can you keep it on your sits bones? Now, depending on where you're at, maybe you can support your legs and bring them to a tabletop. Maybe you can lift up out of your seat, high on your sitting bones here. For those who have got the flexibility, you might be able to lengthen the legs, and you might be able to take them slightly apart, get long through the arms, draw up through your sternum, lift your lower back tall. So this is just if you've got the flexibility. Don't worry if you have not. It takes a while to get there. Okay, and the balance too. All right, let's bring the feet together, lower them down, and then we are going to turn over onto our side. So the first exercise, you're going to lay yourself all the way out with your arm underneath your ear for some support for your neck. Make sure you've got your hip bones stacked evenly. Use your front hand to help support you. So bring your legs in line with your spine, or just slightly in front if you're particularly tall. And you're going to lengthen out through the legs, pull the abdominals in. Maybe you can hover those feet just off the mat. On an exhale, you're going to tip the pelvis, press your lower leg into your upper to lift them up and down. Notice it's a relatively small movement. I'm coming round about the height of my hips, so you don't want to try and come any higher where we're creating strain in the body. It should feel like work, but not strain. So you use your exhale. You might notice the lower side of your lower waist presses into the mat as you flex sideways to lift the legs. So a stability exercise, working the sides of the trunk. Keep your eye line looking forward, so you've got that lovely long line of the spine. 2 more. And then let's lower the legs all the way down. Bend your underneath leg. So it's round about 90 degrees, or your shin is in line with the edge of your mat. Now you can stay here, or you can also prop yourself up on your elbow. I like to stay in a long line. It just makes me feel more aligned. The foot is relaxed on the end of your extended leg. And we're just going to do a small lift and lower. So working now into the side of the hip. Notice it's a controlled movement. So we're taking out the momentum where the legs are swinging around. It's really controlled on the way up and the way down. Finding the precision with it, so we'll find that long line each time. Let's do 1 more of these. Now hold that foot at the height of your hip. Think about your hip bones, and you're going to start gliding your leg forward, just coming to the point where if you come too far, you start to go into a little tuck of the pelvis. Your top hip bone might roll forward. So once you've reached that point, you're just going to add a little lift and lower, like a pulse, and then you're going to pull that leg back in line with your spine. So let's repeat that a little bit quicker. We come forward, we find the point where we can keep our stability, we add the lift and lower, we draw that leg back. So your pelvis should not rock and roll forward and back with this movement. of the leg. You should be able to feel the femur moving in the hip socket independently of anything else going on in your body. So if you're rocking and rolling around a lot, make your movement smaller. Start small and then you've got somewhere to go. Lovely. So the last one, the piece de resistance. Bring it forward, little drops towards the floor. Pulse it. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you feel that glute? Great. Okay, let's turn over onto our back. The leg that you were just pulsing, you're going to bring it into what we call a figure 4 stretch, crossing that ankle over your thigh. Now you can add some gentle pressure into that thigh, encourage that rotation of the thigh bone to get a stretch there, or it might feel better to thread the hands through, hug your legs closer in, and it deepens the stretch into the hip socket. So 2 options there for your stretch. Take a full deep breath. Take a full exhale. And let's do it all on the other side. So swinging the legs around. And let's set ourselves up nice and long through the body. Support yourself with your front hand. Check out your hips. Are you evenly stacked? Lift up from that underneath side of your waist. Think of your knees trying to face them forward. Let's come into that hover. Find your balance, find your stillness. On an exhale, let's hit the pelvis. We squeeze the legs together to lift. Think of almost that underneath leg helping to lift the top leg. Flexing sideways, working the waist, but finding stability through the body with it. You might be pushing like crazy into that front hand if this exercise is new to you. If it is, it's all good. Let's do one more. And I've just seen a notification come up on the screen. I'm hoping that that's not going to be in the recording. Let's just bend our underneath leg and have that shin parallel to the floor. Let's lift and lower. I must confess that I did a whole heap of Zoom things back in 2020, along with probably half the world's population. But I've got out of practice, or I've just been doing other things and not really used it. So this is kind of me ironing things out. So I do apologise if this first class hasn't gone quite according to plan, technically, but we'll figure things out. I'll be doing it again. So we'll do one more lift and lower. Again, keep that foot, I think I was pointing it because I wasn't concentrating, but you want it to be relaxed. So we're going to draw that leg forward. Again, find where you can come to. It doesn't matter how big you go. What you're looking for is stability in your body with this, and then draw that leg back. And again, bring it forwards, small lift and lower. Exhale, we pull back. And again, inhale, bring it forwards, lift and lower. Exhale, we pull back. Try to let your pelvis stay square. Maybe have your hand there so you can feel what's happening. Lift and lower. Pull back, and then when you're ready for the pulses, feel that little bit of burn in the side of the glutes. So we drop, 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 drop. Try not to let the hip bone roll with that. It's just a drop into the foot and the leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg back. Let's turn over. Let's have that well-deserved stretch for crossing that ankle over your thigh. Open the knee towards floor, or thread the hands through for your figure 4 stretch. And I can't believe it. Our half an hour is nearly up, and I only got through half of what I had planned. But I'm guessing that's a good thing to always have more, because that will be in the next class. So we are going to come out of our stretch by rocking and rolling ourselves up. We're going to finish in a standing position. So be on or off your mat, but what I want you to have is your feet round about hip distance apart, Lengthen up as though you're trying to grow taller through your spine. Imagine you're lengthened from the crown of the head by a little string, but check out your knees. Can you keep them a little bit soft, even though you've got your heels and your toes pressing into the ground? Your arms are relaxed by your sides. Your abdominals are gently drawing in. Let's curl the head down as we finish with a roll down. Imagine you're sending one vertebra at a time forward. Try not to send your hips back if you can. So it's just the spine and the abdominals working together. Keep your knees soft. You might need to bend them more so you can flex. Go with where you're at. Take your time with this. There's no rush. Let your arms be loose at the bottom. Eyes are looking in. Have you got that lovely curve of the spine? Now thinking about an exhale, hug the abdominals, pull your belly button towards your spine as you lift yourself up. Use your abdominals. You might feel the backs of the legs involved in this too. And then re-stack in the spine. Let's finish with the shoulders and the head. Finding that tall feeling at the top. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. It was my absolute pleasure doing this class. I just have time in between teaching for real in person. I hope you will join me again for the next one.